Good morning, students. Today we will be discussing the factors affecting capital structure. In the previous lecture, we had discussed about the capital structure, that it is the proportion of debt and equity in the overall capital. Today we will be discussing that what all are the factors that affect the proportion of debt and equity, that how much proportion of debt and how much proportion of equity should be there in your overall capital. So we will be discussing the factors affecting capital structure. The very first factor of factors affecting capital structure is the cash flow position. We have discussed this point earlier also, that the cash flow position of the company should be strong. So while deciding the capital structure, future cash flow position should be kept in mind. So, if the company wants to raise debt, it must ensure that sufficient cash flows are expected to meet debt obligations. That means the payment of interest or your repayment of principal amount. So, in addition to fixed commitments, there must be surplus cash also to meet normal business operations, to make investments in the fixed assets, meeting debt service commitments, as well as provide a sufficient buffer. So in situation of shortage of cash, the company should use more of equity. So company must estimate the projected cash flow before deciding debt equity ratio in the capital structure. Next is the interest coverage ratio. Now, interest coverage ratio means the number of times earning before interest and tax of a company covers the interest obligation. That means how much your earnings are there so that you can cover up your interest obligations. So there's a formula that ICR, that is interest coverage ratio, is equals to EBIT, that is earning before interest and tax divided by interest expenses. So the higher the ratio, the lower is the risk of company failing to meet its interest payment obligations. However, this ratio is not adequate measure because sometimes a company may have high EBIT but low cash balance. Suppose you have sold goods on credit. So earning before interest and tax is high, but you have shortage of cash because you have sold goods on credit. So along with interest, repayment of debt is also equally important. So we can say that low interest coverage ratio means debt should not be used. Next is debt service coverage ratio. So whatever the deficiencies are there in the interest coverage ratio, that the EBIT may be high but the cash balance is low, so that deficiency is taken care in this particular ratio, that is debt service coverage ratio, which says that the cash profit generated by the operations are compared with the total cash required to pay fixed financial charges, for example preference dividends and interest. So DSCR is calculated as profit after tax plus depreciation plus interest plus non-cash expenses divided by your preference dividend, interest and repayment obligations. A higher debt service coverage ratio, in which the cash profit generated by the operations are compared with the total cash required for the service of debt and the preferential capital, the better will be the ability of the firm to increase debt component in the capital structure. If there is a low debt service coverage ratio, that means debt should not be used. Next is return on investment. Now, return on investment is another crucial factor which helps in deciding the capital structure. If return on investment of the company is more than the rate of interest, then the EPS, that is earning per share by the equity shareholder, increases. This is called trading and equity, which we have already discussed in a previous video with the help of examples also, that how trading on equity or gives likely benefit with the debt component in the capital structure. Why? Because the use of more debt along with the equity increases earning per share. Why this thing happen? Because the debt and loan carry fixed amount of interest, which is a tax deductible expense, and when it will give the benefit to shareholders will be realized only and only if the return on investment is greater than the interest on debt. So if the return on investment of the company is higher, the company can choose to use trading on equity to increase its earning per share, that is the ability to use debt is greater. Next is the cost of debt. Now, more debt can be used if cost of debt is low, but in case of higher cost of debt, the company prefer more of equity than debt. Next factor affecting capital structure is the cost of equity. Now, shareholders expect a rate of return on their equity for bearing risk. So, when a company increases debt, the financial risk faced by the equity shareholder also increases. So, consequently, their desired rate of return may increase because they are bearing more risk. So, therefore, a company cannot use debt beyond a certain limit. There should be certain parameters that should be set by a company, and beyond that limit, they should not use debt. So, if debt is used beyond that limit, cost of equity may go up sharply because the expected rate of return from by the shareholders will also increase, and share prices may decrease. Why? Because if they are not getting the expected rate of return, so they may take out their investment, and if the shareholders are taking out their investment, so the share prices may fall. So hence, for maximization of shareholders wealth, debt can be used only up to a level. Next is flotation cost. Now we know that flotation cost is the cost of raising fund. For example, cost of advertising, printing prospectus, etc. So flotation cost affect the choice of capital structure of a company, as higher the flotation cost, less attractive the source of finance be. So the cost of raising fund from various sources should be carefully estimated before making a choice. Securities with minimum flotation cost should be preferred. Next is the risk consideration. Now, use of debt or use of more debt increases the financial risk of a business. Now, what is this financial risk? Financial risk means that a company is unable to meet its fixed financial charges, that is, payment of interest, repayment of principal amount, etc. So, apart from this financial risk, every business has certain kind of operating risk also, or which is also known as your business risk. Now, business risk depends upon the fixed operating cost, like you have to give the rent, salary, insurance premium, etc. So higher fixed operating cost results in higher business risk, and vice versa. So the situation here is that the total risk depends upon both your business risk as well as financial risk. So if a firm's business risk is lower, then its capacity to take or to use debt is higher. In case of higher business risk, that is higher fixed operating cost, then the firm capacity to use debt is lower because the firm is not in a situation to bear more financial burden or to take more financial burden. So therefore, if the financial risk or the business risk is higher, then the business should use lesser debt and should go for equity. Next is flexibility. Now, if the firm uses its debt potential to the full, so it loses the flexibility to use more debt. Every company has certain kind of or certain criteria up to which they can use the debt, because it depends on the assets that you are having. So to maintain flexibility, the company must maintain some borrowing power to take care of unforeseen circumstances. The next factor is the control factor. Now, debt normally does not cause dilution of control, whereas public issue makes the firm vulnerable to takeovers. That means if we are raising funds through debt, so it will not dilute the control over the company. But if we are raising funds through equity, so that means we are adding more equity shareholders and we are losing the control over the company. So to retain the control, the firm should issue debt. Then regulatory framework. Now every company operates within a regulatory framework provided by the law. For example, public issue of shares and debentures are made as per the guidelines issued by SEBI. So similarly, raising funds from banks and other financial institutions also require fulfillment of various other norms. So generally, company prefer those sources of finance which have easy and less legal and regulatory requirements. Next factor is stock market conditions. Now, the stock market conditions also affect the capital structure of a company. During a bullish phase, equity shares can be easily issued even at a higher prices. However, during depression or recession, or we can say bearish period or bearish phase, a company may find it difficult to raise equity capital and hence it may opt for debt. Next is the capital structure of other companies. Now, debt equity ratios of other companies in the same industry act as a guidelines for planning the capital structure. That is, companies should follow the industry norms, whatever the industry norms are, so they should follow. However, it should not follow the industry norms blindly. For example, if the business risk of a company is higher, it cannot raise more debt to follow the industry norms, because in such a situation the total or overall risk will be higher. So care must be taken that the company does not follow the industry norms blindly. Last is the tax rate. Now, as we had discussed this earlier also, that the higher tax rate makes debt relatively cheaper and increases its attraction as compared to equity, because because if we are issuing or if we are raising funds through debt, so it is a tax deductible source. So let's take an example. Suppose the borrowings are 10% at the rate of 10% and tax rate is 30%, means after tax cost of debt is only 7%. How it is? Let's prove it. So suppose 10% debentures of rupees 1 lakh and tax payable is at the rate of 30%. So EBIT, that is earning before interest and tax, is given is rupees 1 lakh. Now less interest, that is 10% of 1 lakh is 10,000. So your earning before tax is 90,000. Now you have to charge tax on it. So if we do 30% of 90,000, that is 27,000. Now suppose this debt proportion is not there. So that means there is no liability, there is no fixed obligation that you have to deduct. So EBIT is 1 lakh rupees, and on this 1 lakh rupees you will be calculating 30% interest, that tax, that is your 30,000 rupees. So two conditions: if the debt proportion is there, so you are paying a tax of rupees 27,000. If there is no debt proportion, so you are paying a tax of rupees 30,000. So tax saving due to debt is 30,000 minus 27,000, that is rupees 3,000. That means in a situation where there is no debt proportion, you are paying 30,000. In a situation where there is a debt proportion, you are paying 27,000. So you are saving 3,000. So that means your net interest payable is 7,000, which is 7% of 1 lakh rupees. So that means 10% borrowing rate is costing you actually 7%, because you are saving 3,000 as a tax. So this is how we basically consider that how much debt should be taken care, or how much proportion of debt should be there in the capital structure. So just to revise, we have done the factors affecting the capital structure, that is the cash flow position of the company, risk consideration, interest coverage ratio, debt service coverage ratio, cost of debt, cost of equity, flotation cost, tax rate, control, stock market conditions, flexibility, regulatory framework, and capital structure of other companies. I hope you understood the topic. Please read it from NCERT also. Thank you so much, children.